So welcome back to another episode of Ask the Boss. This episode is going to be a little bit different. We have switched things up, not going to give it all away, but we are going to be talking about the classic case of mansplaining, which we have all experienced, some more than others. And then we're going to be talking about, you know, when someone's come into your house, possibly a tradie, and even though you're the one that's booked them and you've asked them to come and you're asking the questions and you're the one that knows the budget, they decided to talk to the other man in the room. Yep, well, we're going to talk about that as well. And then finally, the whole section on what it's like to be underestimated and belittled and tested on the knowledge that you clearly have, but because you might potentially be a woman, people think you might not know it. All right, let's get on with it.
Okay, Barbie, gather round. Property flipping is basically makeover time, but like for houses. You buy a crusty old place, think ugly shoes on sale, then you make it all shiny and cute again. A little paint here, some sparkly tiles there, maybe a pink front door if you're feeling wild. Then, instead of keeping it, you sell it to someone else for way more cash. Now, don't stress your pretty head about boring stuff like mortgages, tax, or builders. Those are, big scary man things. You just pick the cushions, maybe hold a paintbrush for the Insta photo, and boom. Dream house flip, Barbie edition.
Oh, okay, Barbie.
I feel like that's what people think we do. Just stand and hold a paintbrush for Instagram.
Yeah, let someone else do the hard bit and then you just pose in front of the camera.
Don't worry your pretty little head about it.
Yeah. Oh.
It is, there's like when you hear it all together, it is like mind blowing. You're like, okay, well, obviously no one would say something like that. But if you but even if they do, like even if you take just little things like, don't worry your pretty little head about that. That's a man's job. Like then suddenly you're hearing things that actually you hear
fairly often.
Well, you know what AI does? It just takes real life stuff and puts it all in one place, and it's got this from somewhere.
Yeah.
Got this from somewhere on the internet, from one corner of the internet or another.
But yeah, we put that together. We wanted to listen to that because we wanted to, if anyone who doesn't know what mansplaining is or needs to hear an example of it.
There it is.
There you go, ChatGPT brought it to our attention.
It's real.
So somewhere that I think actually is doing a really good job of all this is Brandon Hire Station. Mm-hmm. Every time I've spoken to them on the phone or gone inside, they're really great with me, no matter the fact that I started very much DIY and now I'm hiring much bigger and more complicated tools. They're always happy to hand it over to me with a big smile on their face and give not only me the confidence to use it, but also trust that I am fully capable.
They always ask, have you ever used one of these before? Which is such an important question instead of just telling you something you might already know. They always inquire of your level of knowledge.
I've so far hired a cement mixer, a whacker, a rotavator, a stump grinder. I've also just hired their platform tower to get to the porch because we rebuilt our entire porch. And everything has been so easy to book online. I've also spoken to them on the phone and the delivery is super easy as well. So that's like all the stuff that I've done for the garden, but I've also used them for all the stuff in my house as well because they literally have all the tools you could possibly need.
I'm so excited to get cracking on these guys.
You're going to love it.
They're not going to know what's coming for them.
So they've got absolutely everything, and I've definitely taken advantage of most, but they've got everything for house, garden, any level, whether you are DIY or pro. Well, I was actually going to look at you for the pro, but... So if you do want to use them, we actually have a code. It's for 10% off anything from Brandon Hire Station. It is pink10 and all the information is going to be in the description below.
All right then, Heather. I know you've got quite a few of these stories. Which one's your favourite mansplaining story?
To be honest, like we talked about the mansplaining thing to do with property because I brought up the fact that like whenever I go out and about, when I'm in pubs and stuff, there are so many boys that take it upon themselves to explain to me about property and about flipping property.
I bet they've never bought one either.
No, never, ever. Or just talk about it and use just jargon they think I don't understand.
Like what?
Like ROI, return on investment, shit like that. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, just to test me. Or will just like quiz me on stuff like, what about capital gains? What about stamp duty? So what did you buy it for? So what's your margins? Like that kind of stuff, as if they're like not believing
like
it's a thing.
Walking into the pub, suddenly you are now part of a test that you need to get 100% on.
Exactly. I didn't sign up for this. But that's where like this whole conversation stemmed from. But my favourite mansplaining story, of which there are so many, is not even mine. It's my sister and my mum. And my mum took the opportunity to show my sister how to pump up her tyres because her tyres were low. So they went to the thing and my mum was very clearly being like, so Anya, this is how you do it. Da, 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 da. And this guy came over and he was like, oh, let me help you, sweetheart. Like, let me show you how to do it. And she was like, it's okay, thank you. I'm using this opportunity to show my daughter how to do it. And he wouldn't take no for an answer. And she protested several times and then proceeded to mansplain how to pump up the tyres to both Anya and mum. And like, lots of men can say, oh, he didn't know that you didn't know. He was just trying to help. Blah, blah, blah. But this one, she actually actively said, like, no, I'm fine several times before
giving up and just letting him
show her how to do it.
It's just for his ego, isn't it? He wanted to come in and be the saviour.
Yeah.
Save
it's
the
a bit like
poor little women who can't
distress.
possibly understand how a tyre pump works.
But it's the entitlement. It's a bit like that guy, when I was at the restaurant, literally just before here, this guy just on his phone watching his program, like loud as anything.
I
just
hate it when people do that.
And it's like, I know it's nothing to do with mansplaining, but it's that entitlement of like, just like, oh well, like I'm
in this space.
Sorry, there's no actually
nothing
that he hasn't even had that thought. There has no thought has gone through before, and I just don't understand why if you say like, oh no, like actually we're okay, he's like, oh okay, my bad. It is just like, no, surely you need my.
But then if he did take it, he'd be offended, because how could you possibly not want my help?
Yeah, exactly.
But it's so great.
I don't even know if it's that or whether it's like how I know you think you know, little lady, but I don't think you do. Like, let me show you. I'm not sure you really could possibly know in your small female brain.
I actually saw a TikTok of this, and I'll need to dig out her handle because I did save it. And basically, she bought this bright orange sofa. She'd wanted a loaf sofa in bright orange for years, and she found one on Facebook Marketplace. She's like, great. And she just couldn't get it into her living room. Like, the hallway was too skinny for it. It just didn't work. And she tried every which way, all the different angles, really tried really hard to try and get this thing in with help from lots of people. And she eventually called in like a handyman, sort of man with a van service to try and man with a van. Why? Anyway, to try and get it into her living room. And he'd really patronised her on the phone and been like, oh, don't worry, love, someone with a brain can come in and help you do that. And like genuinely said those sort of words out loud, like, oh yeah, no, don't worry, like your pretty little head about it, like I'll come in and sort it. He couldn't get the fucking sofa in. And then as he left, she went, oh, all those manly brains just didn't help you. He was like, oh well, like I had a better chance than you though.
Well,
and I'm like,
have you ever had it where you're like, I'm trying to do something, like recently trying to connect a projector to the Wi-Fi and it wouldn't work. And I'm like, I've tried it, it doesn't work. And then a man takes the laptop and they're like, no, let me try. It's like, no, I've told you it doesn't work. I've told you I've tried and it doesn't work. And it's like, neither one of us, you're not like a Wi-Fi tech expert.
No.
Why would you be able to do it if I couldn't? And that's just so subtle. And to be honest, I've never really thought about it before. But like anytime I say, I can't do that, I can't do it, it doesn't work, or like it won't go, or it won't fit, or whatever. And they're like, I'm sure it will. Let me just double check
like
that. I'm not sure about that one.
Being born with a penis and some balls, you get some extra qualifications that we didn't know about.
No, you do.
Yeah, sorry, my bad.
No, and then when I was at university, I did economics, and I would, you know what people love to mansplain? Finance. Just like, and
it's not that complicated, is it?
But like people just love to, I don't know what it is, whether it's like some fetish that they just fucking love to know shit about finance. Like they've just watched The Big Short one too many times and they just want to like talk about it. And it's just like, firstly, did I ask? No. And also, I already know.
I'm doing a degree in
this. I'm doing a degree in that.
Mr. Sports Management?
No. And it was normally the fucking engineers.
Really?
No offense to engineers. I know your brother's an engineer.
Oh, he's fine.
But like, it was an engineer, and it was a man who definitely suffered quite badly from short man syndrome. So like, but he was always the one. And he also mansplained to me once about what a freckle was. And
how did that go?
He told me it was the explosion of a skin cell.
Oh.
Which it just isn't. And I had recently just done my qualification in lashes, which doesn't feel like super related, but part of the course is being able to identify certain skin conditions and stuff, because you're really up close with people. And it's like my mum and sister, like on a complete different level, they also have to recognise a lot of other symptoms outside of chiropractic. Because when you're in that very close kind of quarters with someone, you are one of these levels of defence, kind of like picking up things that someone might not notice. So part of the course was recognising melanomas and recognising skin stuff. So I'd just done a course on this, and he was just adamant that it was the explosion of a skin cell. And I'm like, what about your engineering course has given you any like ability to speak on this? And it's one thing like saying your opinion, but I don't know what it is about mansplaining. It's just the fact that like, firstly, you didn't ask. Secondly, it's condescending as fuck. And also they're presuming you don't know.
This is the main thing, isn't it?
Yeah,
this is what like that's because we went and did a little bit of research about what it really means. And it's a huge overarching, I mean, I know you know, but it's a huge overarching topic. And mansplaining, as in like I'm over explaining something to you that you didn't know, for example, the trying to teach you how to pump the tires sort of situation is like the main one. But it's the underestimation of us as women. That's kind of the whole point. It's the
assuming that you
belittlement.
don't understand it, so therefore you must know better because you happen to be a man, so therefore you must be able to explain it better than someone who's got a degree in the thing.
And it is different for those that don't understand what mansplaining is or don't think that it's a thing because they probably mansplain frequently, is that if you come from a position of expertise, if a builder came in and said, oh, by the way, this is this,
Different.
although I didn't ask, it's still not mansplaining really, because you are coming from a position of knowing. But when you are also in a position of like no expertise and you feel the need to explain something to someone,
Your only expertise is that you're the man.
yeah,
That's all you're bringing to the table.
And but just presuming like if I met someone out in a bar and they were explaining property to me, just the presumption that I don't know, that is inherently sexist. Because
Absolutely.
why would I not know? Like why
Why are you immediately assuming that I wouldn't know? Because if I was a man, you wouldn't assume that.
Yeah, exactly.
So I think that's the main issue. You had loads of people on Instagram come back to you about this, didn't you?
I did. I was a bit sneaky and I asked a few people on the internet on my account whether they'd ever experienced getting mansplained. And Heather, you haven't seen these, so I thought I'd tell you a few of them. Make you really sad or angry, I'm not too sure. But
All of the above.
the first one, and I won't be saying people's names just because I'll probably say them wrong. But we have one account that says that their male doctor told her how her lady pain should feel.
Are you fucking joking?
No, apparently.
How does he?
A male doctor apparently knew how her lady pain would feel.
Oh.
Or should feel.
From one of those really outdated books that don't properly comprehend women's pain because no one's ever researched it or
Actually
looked
asked
into
a
it.
woman. Yeah, exactly. One of those books.
Oh, fab. No. I'd like to see this
Classic,
man.
yeah, amazing.
This account has said that a delivery guy asked her if her parents were home. She is 38 and she has 3 kids.
Well, that's like the thing, isn't it?
It's a thing. I feel like there is a bit of a hidden compliment in there. We can beat them out. There's a hidden compliment that you look young, but not so young that you'd have that. I was at a gig the other week, and a friend of a friend I was there with, and she's the same age as us, she's 28, and they stopped her and was like, "Who are you here with?" Because they thought that she was under 16. She was like, "No, that's gone beyond the compliment now. Like, I don't want to look 15 when I'm 28."
I think it's just some people who don't comprehend the ages. They just, it's a bit like me and children. You know, if you say, "Oh, I've got a 7-year-old," I can't picture that. I cannot picture what a 7-year-old looks like compared to a 3-year-old. So I'll meet your 2-year-old and be like, "Oh, how's school?" Like, I really will be that person. But
It's true.
But
Until
that's
you know
just
lots of
incompetence
kids.
on my behalf, and I'm more than happy to admit that. Third one, we have someone saying, when men assume you are the health and safety lady, but this lady's actually the bid manager, and she actually won you the work. So
I feel like that's probably something that Meg gets.
It's quite satisfying that though, when you can turn around and be like, no, I'm running
Wait.
the show.
Yeah.
I used to get that all the time in bars. Can I speak to the manager? I am the manager.
Mm.
Oh no, like the big one. No, that's still me.
Yeah. Yo, is there no, a friend of mine who is the GM of a bar locally, she had someone that would not, they said, "No, but can I speak to a man?" Literally said that to her, and she is
Out
exactly
loud?
like me, and she will not fucking take that. She kicked them out, and then they emailed. They said, "Can we have an email?" Because she said, blah, blah, blah. They said, can we speak to a manager? She said, I am the manager. They said, can we speak to someone above you? She said, I am the general manager of this establishment. There is no one above me. And then they said, well, can we speak to someone higher up in the company? And she said, you want an email? And she gave them her email. She was like, this is my email. And then they were like, can we speak to a man? And she kicked them out. And then they emailed her and they're like trying to find a man in this situation. And it's just like, the reason she kicked them out is because they sexually harassed someone in the bar. That's why they wanted to speak to the manager, because she was giving them, she was like, you will not do that in my bar. And it was her sister. She was like one of the person that it happened to.
The key is just further, doesn't it?
No, it just keeps going and going and going. And not only are they a sexual harasser, also misogynist, also would not accept no for an answer, just literally like the trifecta.
Yeah, no is no, babes. Get out.
What were they hoping
There
to
is no
achieve?
man.
Were they hoping to talk to a man? The man would be like, yeah, mate, like,
Oh,
I do it all the
so
time with
get
her.
it.
She's hot, isn't she?
I get it.
Like, what was it they expecting? I don't
Probably,
understand.
no, but probably that.
yeah, well, that's what I
Probably
mean.
that. Yeah, they
What a
probably were
vile,
hoping that
vile
someone would say,
person.
Yeah.
oh, you poor thing. It's such a simple mistake to make
Yeah.
when a girl...
These women, they're crazy.
Yeah, I
All
know.
probably on their period. Like, it's all right. I'll fire them. Don't worry.
Another recent one was obviously as part of my many jobs, here, there and
All
everywhere.
your jobs.
I am the manager of a cafe. And I've been the bar manager of a bar before that, a very big bar where I managed a lot of people. And so I recently met the manager of a different bar that's kind of to do with the cafe that I manage. And he was talking to me, and literally, I don't even remember what the question we asked was. It was nothing to do with what he spoke about. And then he basically explained to me without prompting what probation period is, and that when you hire someone, there's a probation period, typically between 30 and 60 days, where that person is kind of like on trial. And after that time, you can decide whether to pass their probation period, which means that they stay in the job.
Oh,
Or
I'm
you-
sorry, that wasn't clear to me.
I
but
know,
yes,
I know.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah, well, thank
Or you can fail their probation period, which means any takers on this one?
Oh, what that means?
If
No,
they
my
fail
little
their
my
probation
tiny little
period-
baby
I have
brain
no
can't work
idea.
out.
Yeah.
what
Okay,
that's
that's
Never
fine.
heard of that
Well, I've
before.
learnt this from the manager, so
Oh, wow.
I've got
Okay,
it.
good.
The
Thanks.
man
Thanks for
manager.
implying your
manager.
really, really crazy wisdom that we would
Yeah.
never have heard of
Okay,
before in
yeah.
our
So
life.
if you fail your probation, you get fired. And it's just a good way to make sure that people are like keeping up with like doing everything you want them to do.
That
It's
was
a
gonna be my
good
second
it's a good
question,
period
yeah.
where you can see if you really like them and if they really like you.
Oh my God.
And after that you then have like a probation meeting and you have different behavioural meetings and kind of continue it through.
Tell me more.
And I said, thank you so much. I know all of that and I didn't ask.
Well done.
And that was that. And then
Good
Has he done it
response.
since?
no, he just tends to like
Turn it down a bit now.
just no. You just say like, what time should we come in tomorrow? And then I got a 1.5 minute long voice note about what he was doing tomorrow. But yeah, that's how I typically respond to it. And I didn't used to. When I was at uni, I'd just be like, no, like you're not listening to me, or like I'd engage in the argument of
Yeah.
like,
Mm.
oh, well, no, actually it's this, and it's like, but now I'm like, okay, thanks.
Yeah, well,
I
we were
didn't
talking
ask
about this before this episode because I was trying to think of mansplaining stories, and for me, I find it difficult because I think I just don't engage in it. I'm like, I would never assume that that's what they're trying to do, and if they are, then I just won't interact with them again. So like, I've sort of blocked out, I think, because it must have happened many times because people underestimate women all the time. But yeah, I don't know. I think that's the best way to do it. Just like calmly shut it down and be
And
like, I knew that.
People
Thank
do
you.
get really embarrassed if you say when, and they say when what? When did I ask?
when
I
when
didn't
did I
ask.
ask? I like that.
And that because it makes it abundantly obvious that you didn't actually fucking ask and you didn't care. And but the ego in me, that's why I threw in the like, I already know all of that. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks. I really appreciate that little lesson.
One of the things with mansplaining also is when a man will explain something to a man, even if there's a woman in the room, they'll kind of purposely look at the man instead. And I know you've had quite a few situations like that.
Yeah, this is like my bread and butter with all of our tradies. It's insane. And I think it's a bit of an odd dynamic in mine and Miles's relationship because I'm definitely more like the classic like male person in the relationship because I did a degree in product design. I grew up in a family that did lots of DIY. I'm just generally a bit more handy, like naturally. Miles has got lots of things he's great at, but this is something that I am good at. I've also a project manager by trade. I've redone pubs and restaurants. I've done lots of different types of managing. So like it's just more my forte than him, and that's not a bad thing. But I think whenever you come across a tradie, they will assume Miles is the lead on that because that just seems to be how gender roles fall. But in our scenario, it's not. So I get why it's not like an innate thing that if you're going to try and talk to someone in particular, you might not go specifically for the woman. But when I've booked the meeting and spoken to you, walked in, shook your hand first, and then is the one asking the questions, and yet you answered them to Miles instead, it pisses me off so much. We went to a stonemason recently. I want to clarify, he was brilliant, but I booked a meeting and everything, and at the beginning of the meeting he was talking to both me and Miles, but he was asking Miles sort of more of the proper questions, and within 2 questions he realised that I was the one who was making the decisions on all of this stuff. And obviously Miles has a say in everything we're doing, but like in terms of where are you getting the kitchen from? How big do you want it? What edging do you want? What type of quartz do you want? Do you want this thickness? Do you want that thick? All these questions. Miles doesn't care or have any idea. He just goes, okay, I trust your opinion, you crack on. He's there to look at the samples, but that's it. But I think that's a good example of it, where like he might have immediately thought that Miles was the one to talk to, but quite swiftly just turned to me. And actually I went on a phone call halfway through the sort of meeting, I guess. And Miles said that they were sat there like, not sure what to say to each other because he realised he didn't have anything to answer.
And I am really grateful that, you know, in that situation you feel like it was actually quite a good one and like that's probably up quite high on all your interactions. But I have been to quite a few of these trade events recently where you have to do quite a lot of small talking and introduce yourself and chatting to people. And there's this big thing, rule that we've learnt in general socialness, which is you talk to everyone. So like,
yes,
if I'm having a conversation with Meg right now and let's say we really are like, oh my God, you've been there, me too, I've been there. If there's someone in that vicinity, you bring them in, you give them eye contact, you explain something to them, even if they didn't ask,
a question.
and you to kind of bring them into the conversation, or to talk to both of them at the same time, even if there is a clear like.
Well, especially if they're a couple.
Yeah, well,
they're both involved.
So this
in
is
the
what I mean.
conversation.
This is my problem. I have is it's you know I've been in situations and that guy he actually spoke to me. What a high level standard of level that I'm basing this on. No, it's like if I can learn that when I have a conversation I talk to everyone that I'm having a conversation to, no matter if it's one person who clearly has the answers, I bring this other person into the call. How has a salesperson not got that level of...
But also, like, when we have these conversations, I always think in my mind, what is the misogynist male angry man saying when he hears this? And, like, what's their defence? And the defence in my mind is them being like, yeah, well, like, typically it's just the man. So, like, I'm just going to talk to him just in case. Like, it's probably just, like, the person that knows. It's like, yeah, but it's just basic respect. Like, what you're saying, it's just basic respect to talk to both people. Yeah. So you're just disrespectful, but it doesn't matter you're being disrespectful because it's just a woman. And you're being disrespectful
It's a big red flag, actually. I think respect is a huge part of this. And I think you're totally right. And another reason why I think I haven't had loads of experience of mansplaining recently is because any tradie that we have through the door, if they do those sort of things, we don't hire them. So all the people that we have on site generally are very respectful to whoever is there. Whether it's me, whether it's Miles, whether it's our friends, whoever it is, they're always talking to everyone like they're equals. And like, I've had lots of conversations with carpenters or plumbers or plasterers about like, oh, how does this work? What do we need to do here? And they're not sort of being like, oh, I can't believe you don't know that. They're genuinely like working it through with me and we're coming up with ideas and we're working it all out. Yeah. But if they didn't respect me, they would roll their eyes and just not even help.
But with that, like, I feel like being a woman in these situations, I feel the need to kind of be extra clued up on everything because I don't want to give the tradie or the man I'm speaking to any excuse to be like, she doesn't know what she's talking about, poor little woman. Do you know what I mean? I feel
I'm really bad at that. Someone will go, oh, and you know what AB2 is? And I'll be like, and I'm really having to learn to go, no, actually I don't, because it's such a vulnerability of mine to not know something.
But the thing is, I think it's fair for you to have that vulnerability because we've all been like pushed into this corner of like, if you don't know it, they're going to take the piss out of you. But you should be able to ask those questions and you should be able to just be like, hang on, what's a B2? I don't understand.
9 times out of 10, especially in these trade situations, because I was going to say I'm the exact same as you. There's no one that I've worked with. Everyone I've worked with I love and they're brilliant. I can't say a bad thing around them because obviously I've hired them because they've been brilliant. But I still am learning to ask them like, oh, I'm sorry, actually I don't understand that. Could you explain it to me? And obviously my brain is ringing that makes me look like I'm, the dim little girl doesn't know. I'm like, no. Like, actually, they're talking about something that they do inside and out. If I start talking about UX and point sizes and padding, I bet they don't know what that is. So, and I wouldn't be
Everyone's
mean
an
about
expert
that.
in their own way, and I've always been like this in any job I've been in as well. I remember when I first started my very first job after uni, and I had been, no, it was on placement year actually, and there were workshops downstairs, and there was a lot of people a similar age to me, so I was like 18 or 19 maybe. And I walked down there, and because I came from the office, there was this sort of weird hierarchy thing that I didn't understand. I was like, and they were explaining something to me, and they were sort of like a bit coy about it. And I'm like, no, like you're the expert here. Like I've got no idea what I'm doing. And they were like, that's not what everyone else thinks when they're upstairs. And I'm like, wow. And that was a massive lesson for me that anyone in any field, whether it's UX, whether it's some like a carpenter, whether it's someone who you see in the world as someone who's better than you or see in the world as someone who's worse than you, everyone is an expert in their own way, and you shouldn't judge them for that, and you should learn from them.
There's this thing that a friend of mine taught me about at uni called epistemic injustice, which is where you, because of your own bias of someone else, you don't take their opinion. So women are done an epistemic injustice because the presumption that they are lesser than, that they don't know, that they're stupid, means that their opinion isn't listened to, even though it's worth no less value than anyone else's. So for fear of playing into that, she's stupid, I feel like a man can chat, and everyone's just like, yeah, makes sense. But the minute that I like fumble my words, or I say like a statistic that's a tiny bit wrong, or something's a bit wrong, then everyone's like,
Who let her
makes
in?
sense. Do you know what I mean? Like
They're ready and
you've got
waiting for
to
you to fail.
prove that you're not stupid. And if you don't, the presumption is you are stupid. Whereas if you're a man, then it's just like, well, he's probably knows what he's talking about. And unless, even then, like I have met boys at uni that time and time again, I was like, is anyone catching what this man is saying? Surely we are not believing it. Time after time after time, like the guy that said about the freckle, he'd always come out with like the most just random stuff. And
But
we're
you say
like,
it with
that is not
confidence.
true. And
Yeah.
all the boys are like, no way. I'm like, I'm searching it up right now. That is so not true.
I love that we're in an age of Google though, because you can really prove some people
Just
wrong.
fact
and
check.
That's quite fun.
Constant fact checking. I'm like, why is no one fact checking this guy? But he says it with such confidence. If I said that, everyone would be like, oh yeah, sure.
But no, but on the flip side of that, I've also worked in places where I'll get up and I'll have my blazer on and I'll talk in front of a bunch of people about this subject, and I'll do it with confidence and grace, and I'll know what I'm talking about because I would have researched it, and people are so impressed that I did it.
So impressed.
Yeah. Whereas it's the bare
But
minimum otherwise.
When
Like a man did it, and it's like, oh yeah, good presentation, Brian.
yeah.
I did it, and it's like, wow,
Wowee,
wow, that
what
was
did this
really
little woman
impressive.
do?
What's this woman doing? Well
And the
done,
thing is, I
babe.
realised that, like, I know, again, the little man in your head right now going, why is she complaining about having compliments about, like, and actually, yeah, for a long
because-
time, no, I very much went, oh, thank you very much. Like, that's really sweet of
But
you.
why
but
is
it's
the
like,
expectation
but
so
it's
low
like
of
the, you know, people say I'm not like other girls. It's like, no, actually, I am like other girls.
Yeah.
Because all the girls are like this.
Yeah.
Because you should not be presuming that other girls aren't like this. And with the cafe, I went in. The new owner of the cafe ignored me all day. Didn't speak to me. Didn't ask my name. Didn't say anything to me. And then just as he was about to leave, he said something about doing a soft launch or something. And I spoke for the manager, the other manager was sat there, and he said something, and I said, actually, I disagree, and then said blah 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 blah, and I was talking, and it was all very like, I am somewhat of an expert in this field, like this is what I know, and I said my opinion, and the owner looked at me and he went, this girl knows her shit. And I'm like, why has it taken you the whole day of being in the same room as me, knowing that I'm the new manager of your venue, and you haven't asked my name, you haven't said anything to me, and now you're like, wow, she actually has something to say for herself.
That's
How
shocking.
impressive.
Yeah.
I just thought she was a silly little girl. And it was
Yeah.
so abundantly clear that of his opinion of me before and afterwards, after that conversation. And
But you shouldn't have to prove yourself to that level, because again, I think this might be what's happened to me in my job. So like I come in and they're like, okay, yeah, like maybe the interview or something. And I've actually worked in a lot of female-led places since, because I don't like this sort of vibe. But they'll maybe assume that you're not going to be as good as the next person because you're a woman, and then you prove otherwise. And they're like, okay, cool, you can go in the box of good women.
Yeah,
Whereas
yeah.
if you haven't proved yourself yet, you're never going to be anywhere near that. And then the men are just automatically here. and they might be better, but generally they'll be here. They have to prove
The
themselves
standard
wrong.
is there. They don't have
Yeah.
to prove themselves to get there. They just automatically
The only way
are.
to get stepped down is if they do something wrong, whereas women have to do something right to be able to be even put in the same category as
No,
just the average
absolutely.
man.
So my cabinets online obviously always do bring the comments. I know we're going to talk about that in a little bit, but I had someone, and I really do try to not reply, just because.
you?
Yeah, it's only when I'm drunk or really bored or
Pissed off.
or all the
Sad.
other things. It's a
Happy.
Monday or Tuesday.
Wednesday,
it's a
Thursday,
day with a day
Friday.
in it. But I do try not to, because it doesn't make me feel good. It doesn't actually give me like the feelings that I guess these trolls get. I don't have that. Anyway, someone had messaged commented saying, you say that you do DIY, but I can see 2 blokes and joiner clamp, so clearly someone's lying, basically, along the
I love
lines
how
of that.
can't they assume that you couldn't possibly have clamps?
It's like, why mention them? Like, I get there are 2 blokes in the video. There is one very short little clip where my dad and Steph are carrying this very heavy frame up. But guess who else is there? Me!
Little old me.
Me! Guiding it.
Running the show.
Yeah, literally in my overalls. And the rest of the footage is basically 50-50 of either my dad doing something where I am recording him doing it, or me doing it where I'm using a tripod to record it. And Dad, if you're listening to this, I love you, but you are not good at video recording me. So that's the only reason why there's no evidence of me doing it, is because
Yeah.
I haven't trusted him to
Get
just
the
take a
footage of
video
it.
of it. I've got loads of footage of him just with his face, where he's just recorded himself on front camera. So no, I don't have that many. But anyway, so I replied just being like, it's great that you've made that assumption, blah, blah, blah. And we had this full-blown argument, and he fully just went into the end of it. Like, the reply, I haven't actually read it, but it's something like where he's suddenly the victim. He's like, oh, I just wanted to find out because I want to do something like this. It's like, no, let's look at that first comment.
Yeah, why did you start off this conversation by trying to take me down a peg if
It
you wanted
was.
to learn from me?
And how dare I have a video where I say I'm DIYing, but then just have 2 blokes with
We've said
their
this before.
joiner clamps.
What is the problem with DIY? Why does it have to be like you couldn't possibly ask for help with DIY?
No.
Your dad's not a professional.
No.
Like if I got my dad to help me lay the floor, I don't understand why that's a problem.
But the worst part is that I bet you if the next day I were to post one of my videos, because they exist, of me doing it on my own, someone will comment saying you've done it wrong.
Yeah. Well, I
So-
made you turn the comments off of that video.
Yeah, right. Oh, yeah. But I think that's what you've got a lot of, isn't it?
In our comments, we've managed to get quite a nice side of TikTok. And I'm using comments as just a metaphor for like people, because I don't have like a huge circle of people. The tradies we chose were very, very nice tradies. I like them all. And there was also only a few of them. There's like an electrician, a plumber and a builder, plasterer. There really isn't anyone else. So if those 4 people aren't misogynist, which they're not because I chose them, the only other place I'm going to get this kind of,
It's online.
this mirror into society is online.
And I do think that is a really important point to mention, is that we are lucky and unlucky in many ways. We do post our stuff online and we are opening ourselves up to this sort of thing. What I would be interested in is talking to someone who's done a renovation completely offline and find out how their experiences differ, but also, surprisingly, will be the same. Because
Well, then we went back. So I'm going to say my friend now, because I spent the weekend with her, but one of Miles' sister's best friends, Kathy, commented on the podcast a month ago, and she had it where she had a whole house redone and she ran the show. Her other half wasn't really, he was there, but like she was the one managing it. Comes down the stairs and the first thing the guy asks is like, oh, there's a woman. Can you help us work out how the dishwasher works? Like that's offline.
yeah,
She didn't ask for that.
100%.
But like, I feel like the comments that we're getting online, it just kind of gives me an insight into like what people think, because I'm not seeing that many people in real life. This is a reflection of what people think. It's a reflection of the state of the world and what everyone's thinking
And they're
out there.
commenting without, they don't think they're going to get any.
Repercussions. Well, actually, on that, for just a separate note,
Yeah.
I have to talk about this. There's a guy called Tobias on TikTok who I love. He always eats ice cream. I don't know if you guys have seen him, but he's just like chatting to the camera often. It's very harmless. He's rarely talking about anything that serious and just eating his ice cream, having a nice time. And he's been getting a troll over and over and over again, commenting on his stuff. It's all like, it's not that deep. It's normally just like, this is lame. Like, why are you posting this? Why are 30,000 of you actually care about this? That sort of thing. But every single video, and they don't follow him. And he decided to dig deep and find out who this was.
Mm-hmm.
And he found out everything about her and regurgitated it online. Didn't say her full name, but everything else. Like, she works with this company, she lives in Mayfair, she has these friends, she does this, she goes out here, she works this, blah, 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 and like said it online. I'm like, yeah, good for you, because this person has gone through every single one of your hundreds of videos and slagged you off because you thought you had no repercussions. And I think that is the same with all of our stuff. Someone wouldn't come up to you in real life and be like, oh, why that's not DIY. Your neighbours would probably be like, oh, fair play for you and your dad doing that.
Yeah.
They might assume your dad did more than he did if they haven't seen a video of it, but like they wouldn't do that otherwise. And I think it's such a weird barrier.
The word assume there that is the issue, isn't
It also surprises me how many people post stuff from business accounts. But it just shows me that they don't think in society anyone else cares enough or shares my opinion enough that it would affect their business. But I find on a lot of videos, like if it's not just like plain hate, it always comes from a perspective of trying to belittle our achievements and what we've done, and or trying to catch us out. Like they've seen us doing something and then they're like, so the video of me taking the radiator off the wall, there were so many comments. It was like, yeah, I'd like to see you put it back on though. It's like, well, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to get a plumber to do that because that's harder. And it's just a silly little video. But it's just like, and someone else commented on that saying, all you've done here is make a TikTok video, which is just like, there are also loads of plumbers in the comment section being like, wow, what a good job. This is fantastic. Thanks for sharing. Like, thanks for spreading the word. Like, there's a lot of people, appreciative people in the comments, a lot of plumbers agreeing with it. And then there's other people that just hate is going to hate and they're just being
I think
mean.
lots of people want to take people down, don't they? They just enjoy
They're just
ruining
trying
other
to
people's
belittle
day.
you.
I had that as well. When I did my Matwell, I had flooring companies, because the person who said that nasty comment was a flooring company. That's why I was so annoyed. But I had also other flooring companies going, yeah, that's actually a really good cut. For the first time, I'm really impressed by that. I had the same thing. And they were getting replies to their comments with more bullying. They were being, someone who was a professional who was just saying, yeah, actually that's not too bad a job, was also getting put down. It's just like, it's where hate just comes. It's really not a very fun place to be.
No, it's not. I also had comments like, and I said this to someone, I was like, this feels like a hate comment. And if they tell me it's not, you're a misogynist. They said, on the bright side, at least you didn't break a nail. And it's just like,
and what was that?
So
what
it was a video
that?
of me tiling, but it was like the video was like, this is how you do tiling. So it was me tiling my whole entire bathroom and my kitchen. Like, it was quite a big video, and the only takeaway is, well, at least you didn't break a nail.
Also, on the bright side, what's the non-bright side, babe?
Yeah, why we?
It looks great. Like, I am so
And
in awe of
imagine
that.
you would just never comment that on a boy's post.
You just wouldn't comment that on anyone's post. I think there is also a thing. It's not always men in this scenario. It's just there's this whole category of people, generally men.
Yeah, it tends to be.
That are just doing this. I mean, we will get mainly men going against us for doing things because they are intimidated by it. But there are lots of women out there who do it too. You had quite a lot on your Matwell one of women as well taking
Someone
you
was
down.
Internalized
mean.
misogyny.
Yeah, someone was mean, and I found out they were a woman, and I just commented. I replied, just being like, "Oh, it's it's a shame. I wasn't expecting that from you, because I've been getting all this hate from guys, and I just wasn't expecting the same level of hate, especially on a subject that like it's not. There's no pros or cons. It's not like I literally shout on someone's living room floor. There's no like, yes, that's a bad thing to do." And I just replied saying, hey, yeah, no, I'm surprised that's coming from you, coming from a woman. And then I literally got told that I didn't deserve a womb and that I am sexist for not letting women criticise as much as men. And I was like, okay, we've got to the weird part of the internet now. Like, I'm just going to let this woman carry on, and I don't know what she's going to bring to society, but I don't think it's going to be a lot.
There are friends and people that I've met and that know that are women that are like, well, you've got to think about men in this situation. And I'm like, babe, like, why can you not just stand up for yourself? Like, put yourself first. Why are you constantly trying to like think about men? Enough people are thinking about men in this situation.
Yeah.
Like, there's enough of that about. Just like, fight for your own self and for your own cause. Like, what it's like, there's like misogynist men, and then like genuinely equal, if not worse, is women that struggle with their own internalized misogyny. It upsets me so much because I'm like, you can't even just like, I wish I could have them all in a room and we could just have a big old conversation where it's just like, let's unlearn these things that have been drilled into you for years and years and years that have made you constantly think about the other side in this of the situation before like fighting for your own thing.
Yeah. Because if it was abundantly clear that the male if men had thought of the women's side, then yeah, fair enough. Like we should, you know. But
Yeah.
that's the whole point. Is it for millennia, women's voices haven't really been heard, or their ergonomics and their anatomy hasn't been considered.
I saw a stat that only 50 years ago, like last week, were women allowed to get a mortgage on their own.
Yeah, it was in the 1970s.
1975, if it was 50 years ago. Imagine that. Not being able to get a mortgage on your own. You had to get it signed off by a man. And actually, a lot of people in the comments, because I was reading through them, that their parents or whatever, the dad had to take the whole brunt of the mortgage, even though the mum earned more, because she couldn't get on the mortgage. It's insane.
I literally just before this was watching a video from Dean Withers, and the person he was debating said, well, if women are not bad, if women aren't stupid and silly, then why has there never been a female president? And he was like, well, until the 1920s, women couldn't vote. Until the 1970s, they couldn't get a mortgage. Until blah, 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 they couldn't do this. And also because there are enough people like you in the world who think these silly, outdated things that won't vote for them because the world is, well, the country is a democracy. So if there's enough people like you that are stupid, that think women are stupid, then obviously they're not going to be able to. We're going against years and years and years of being silenced and not being listened to. And still to this day, like the minute that I open my mouth about any of this stuff, I just see eyes roll and people glaze over, and it's just like,
no.
Yeah, see, they don't want to hear it. But if it was anything, there was any injustice for men, or there was a medication that made them ill or gave them headaches, it would be uproar. But
there is uproar.
There is uproar.
Well, they don't come to market because they couldn't possibly.
No, but if you, God forbid, you were to talk about anything impacting women, the first thing they say, and it's so telling, they say, oh, well, this is an issue for women, like, or women can't run late at night, or like, this is the amount of women that this happens to, and they say, what? But what about men? And it's like, what?
That wasn't part of the conversation,
That wasn't what I was talking about. Again, when did I ask?
It is very much those people who were like, but what about white people when we talk about Black Lives Matter?
That's not the context.
That's not what we're talking about. So as expected, that was quite an intense episode. But all stuff that is needing to be said, that 100% we all can relate to, but also I know a lot of people who are listening and watching can probably relate to. But there are some positive things that we can all take from the discussions that we had today. For example, if you are a guy, I know that Heather's got some advice.
If you are a guy, I just feel like just think for a couple of minutes before you speak. Just like if you feel the need to tell a woman something, just are you responding to a question? Did she ask you? Or just kind of like check your own unconscious bias. Are you presuming that she doesn't know what she's talking about and that's why you're saying it? Or are you coming from a position of expertise, in which case more than welcome to tell us. If you're like a builder and we're stood in a room talking about a stud wall and I look confused, go for it. Tell me what I don't know. But if you're not coming from a position of expertise, just think for a couple of minutes and check your own sexist stereotypes
At the door.
before
you come into my renovation.
Yeah,
just leave that and your dirty shoes at the door. Thank you.
Yeah.
And the other positive is that, as we've said quite a few times through this episode, all three of us have found really, really brilliant tradies across the board and in other parts of our life for people who don't do this. And even if they did, it would be like a very small thing, but like everyone makes mistakes. But I think we found really good tradespeople who have really helped us learn and really helped us move forward with our innovations. And it's not all lost.
And you're really shouldn't ever be in a position, and don't think that you are in a position where you have to handle that and put up with that kind of treatment. If you feel like you don't appreciate the way that you're being spoken to by a tradesman, get a different one. There's so many.
And there are so many that are decent in that way. And the ones that aren't, they will do better jobs and they will be better at their job if they can just be in their own little comfort space of talking to a man. They're not going to enjoy the absolute back-breaking work that I'll put them through with every single conversation being an argument, because if they treat me that way, that's what it's going to be. So women, you do not have to hire them. And for women who have experienced it, you know, don't take it. But also, all three of us have Instagram accounts where we're showing how you can DIY it. So worst case scenario, come and
our inboxes are always open. If you ever need someone to talk to about any of this stuff, I mean, I haven't done that much yet, but these two girls have really done a lot of stuff themselves and are always willing to help. And all of us can be an agony aunt if required. So let us know your stories and let us know if you have anything that we could maybe help with, as we have lived through quite a lot of this misogyny in our time. So either DM any of us, or we have an email address, which is asktheboss@southcast.studio, and send your story, send your worries, send your whatever, and we will be there to help and guide you through it as best as we can.
Yeah, we'd absolutely love to hear from you.
Or just look at our videos and comment on them.
Yeah.
Comment
Anywhere.
on any of our questions, or on any of
Anywhere.
our videos with any questions you have, and we'll get back to them. We all respond to all of our comments.
Yeah.
Unless you're being mean, in which case
We'll
we'll argue with you.
Yeah, I will. If it's a day, if it's a day with the word day in it, I'll argue with you.